My name is Yoo-Jin Jung, and over here is Do-Hyun Kim. Next to her is Soo-Hyun Kim. The topic of our presentation is B is for biodiversity, how rural communities can protect bees. So what we'd like to present today is how bees are important in biodiversity and how to protect them. Biodiversity loss has severe impacts around the world. Now, the protection of natural habitats alone is not enough. And what we really need to consider now is how to increase biodiversity in human areas, such as agricultural areas. Among various methods, our presentation will focus on protecting bees, the core of agriculture and biodiversity. Let's begin with understanding the importance of bees. As a keystone species, bees are a major contributor to biodiversity. They help the reproduction of about 240,000 flowering plants worldwide, including food crops. They're also helpful to farmers in rural areas, providing honey and pollination services. However, despite the importance, bees are at risk nowadays, not protected properly. To protect them, we would suggest using the positive image of bees among the rural farmers and promoting their cooperation to provide more sustainable habitats for bees. By the end of the presentation, I hope you all agree with the necessity of bee protection at the local community level. So, what are the risk factors toward bees? Even though bees are one of the insects that benefit from global warming, there has been a huge decline in the world's bee population. This is due to harmful chemical effects, outweighing the benefits of longer activity periods. Here's an example which shows a severe situation in Korea as well. This year, about 7.8 billion domestic bees just disappeared, and the main reason for this disaster turned out to be pesticides. The neonicotinoid insecticides disturb the nerves of the bees, causing them to get lost. Due to technological developments, lots of farmers have sprayed pesticides over vast areas using drones like this, and it caused a great number of bees to get randomly exposed to chemical components. Let's now take a look at the decrease in habitats. Lots of honey plants have been destroyed due to urbanization, industrialization, transformation to cropland, or felling. For example, in Korea, the population of pseudo-acacia trees has greatly declined due to felling. This kind of habitat destruction damages the biology of honey plants, leading to shorter and limited flowering seasons. The lower biodiversity not only weakens bees' pollinating activity, but also makes the ecosystem vulnerable to other disturbances such as extreme weather. To solve these risks, one of the most important things is to cooperate. The role of beekeepers is especially important since they have the most direct and long-term relationship with bees. They can help bees by using eco-friendly methods to reduce their stress and continuously providing beehives and food. However, to get truly meaningful results, it is also important for other farmers to limit their use of pesticides as well. Since bees have large foraging radius, changes should be implemented across a wide range of farms. In other words, the whole community should cooperate. Local governments can support this collaboration to create a sustainable environment for bees to promote regional biodiversity. Commercially, such attempts would lead to the stabilization of beekeeping industry, creating extra profits. Since beekeeping is a high value-added industry compared to the low initial cost, this may provide a great financial opportunity. If the profit from a better environment and stable beekeeping is shared among the local community, we can strengthen the collaboration and facilitate long-term efforts for bee protection. So today, we'd like to propose methods for this cooperation. Our goal is to achieve win-win relationships among beekeepers, local farmers, and the government. and ultimately promote biodiversity in agricultural areas through bee protection. Our ideas are mainly for Korea, but we think they'll be applicable to other regions as well, with some modifications. The first risk we need to solve, as I mentioned earlier, is pesticides. It'll be helpful to build mutual partnerships between the pesticide-using farmers and the beekeepers. Pesticides are used in two types of farms, crop farms and livestock farms. First, let's look at the case of crop farms. Beekeepers may support them using eco-friendly pest control methods. By investing in biological pest control companies, we can have farmers get used to using natural enemies like chickens instead of pesticides. Local governments can also provide education on eco-friendly farming methods. Meanwhile, in the case of livestock farms, it's necessary to limit their pesticide use to reasonable amounts. Since they generally use pesticides to prevent livestock from getting sick, beekeepers may provide them with bee venom or propolis in exchange, which can be used as antibiotics for animals. This partnership can be strengthened by the government, encouraging to plant crops that are used both for animals as feed and for bees as a source of honey. It would allow farmhouses to reduce the cost of feed and provide further areas for bees' activity. In the long term, these relationships would have a positive effect not only on the local environment, but also on the establishment of sustainable agriculture. Let's move on to the next risk, the destruction of habitats. To encourage bees' activities, we should take care of both the amount of habitats and the diversity of honey plants, especially providing various types of honey plants that have different flowering seasons would keep bees from food shortage. Now, take a look at the next slide, which shows a list of honey plants that we've designed to allow bees to pollinate all year round. This list is made up of plantable plants in the southern region of Korea, where most domestic beekeeping takes place. Government can cooperate with beekeepers and plant these plants around the bees' habitats, enhancing the stability of honey production. But here's a problem. These honey plants are helpful only for Western bees. Korean native bees, not commonly used in beekeeping because of their low productivity, should be considered as well. Despite farm bees being protected by beekeepers to some extent, these native bees have been directly exposed to danger, and their population is plunging recently. And because Korean native bees have shorter mouths than Western bees, they prefer wildflowers over honey plants. So for them, we'd like to recommend creating a wildflower garden composed of wildflowers with various flowering seasons. Since several cooperatives and institutes are already working on the restoration of wildflowers, local governments may collaborate with them. Also, as Korean native honey has a higher value than Western honey due to its rich taste and aroma, some beekeepers may support this activity to get high value-added native honey. The habitat restoration can enhance a region's biodiversity in 3 dimensions. First, and most directly, it can contribute keep going. The habitat restoration can enhance the region's biodiversity in 3 dimensions. First, and most directly, it can contribute to biodiversity by protecting the 2 types of bees. Second, we can enhance plant diversity by preserving various honey plants. Third, since habitat restoration is beneficial not only for the bees, but also for other local insects, we can expect an indirect promotion of local biodiversity. If sustainable habitats for bees are built in rural regions through these methods, it would be possible to promote biodiversity in agricultural areas, allowing the coexistence of agricultural economy and the local environment. Currently, the Korean government's effort for protecting the bees is no more than supporting subsidies for beekeepers to buy new bees or better equipment, which cannot be a sustainable solution in the long term. What the government should consider now is the cooperation among the local community to create fundamental differences. With our proposal, we hope bee protection at the local level becomes an effective method for local economy revitalization and biodiversity protection. So this brings us to the end of our presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to ask us. Thank you for your attention.